As the monsoon storms bear down on India, a dedicated group of women hope that after years of backbreaking labor, water shortages will no longer leave their village high and dry. The world's second most populous country is struggling to meet the water needs of its 1.4 billion people, a problem worsening as climate change makes weather patterns more unpredictable.
There has been an acute water problem over the last decade. We have had to stand in line and wait for hours to fetch water from the hand pump. We used to beat each other up, but we couldn't get water to drink.
Few places have it tougher than Bundelkhand, a region south of the Taj Mahal, where scarce water supplies have pushed despairing farmers on their plains to give up their lands and take up precarious work in the cities. However, 3 years ago, various women joined Jal Saheli, a volunteer network of around 1,000 women that has been working across Bundelkhand to rehabilitate and revive disappeared water sources. Together, they carry rocks and mix concrete to build dams, ponds, and embankments to catch the of the June monsoon, a season which accounts for about 75% of India's annual rainfall.
A women organization was formed which is known as Jal Saheli Group. Every month, we hold a meeting. We discuss the drought-prone areas of the region and find where we should stop the water, so that monsoon water is not wasted and it seeps underground, so that the groundwater level rises and provides water for day-to-day activities.
पीने के पानी की कमी है और खेती के करने के लिए पानी की कमी है तो वो पानी की कमी पूरी हो सके.
In India's villages, fetching water is traditionally the responsibility of women, several of who are said to face violence from their husbands after being unable to find enough for their households. It is said that drought had brought big social changes to the region, pushing men to move to cities and leave their families behind.
There was less water in Bundelkhand, so we ladies had to struggle to get access to water. We need to reserve water for 30 to 40 years so that we and animals don't die of thirst and we continue our farming activities. That's the reason we are fighting.
Agrodha is one of more than 300 villages where women are chalking out plans for new catchment sites, reservoirs, and waterway revitalizations. Many of the women say their work has helped them retain monsoon rainwater for longer and revive half a dozen water bodies around their village.
When there were no check dams, we couldn't store rainwater. Now that we have check dams, we can store water in it. This is keeping hand pumps and wells recharged.
Though not yet self-sufficient, Agrodha's residents are no longer among the roughly 600 million Indians that a government think tank says face acute water shortages daily. The women's efforts provide a rare glimmer of hope as national shortages worsen.
113 villages are water sufficient with efforts from Jal Saheli. Now people get water throughout the year. They get water for drinking, irrigation and animals. There is prosperity in villages due to the availability of water. This is the effect of our work.
Erratic rainfall patterns and extreme heat have been linked to climate change in Bundelkhand, which has suffered several long dry spells since a drought was declared at the turn of the century. India's Niti Aayog Public Policy Center forecasts that around 40% of the country's population could be without access to drinking water by the end of the decade. For the women in villages within the Bundelkhand region, there is now enough water reserves to meet needs year-round and replenish the earth that had dried out before their intervention. However, they only hope that these efforts can be made sustainable.